Hey, this is Tim Barham from Braindead. You're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.
Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I am Nasty Neil, and I'm joined by model, writer, actress, producer. She does it all. We have Pandie Suicide on the show.
Hi, how's it going?
Good thanks. Good thanks. Doing better now. So,
Yeah.
So Massacre. Why don't you if people not familiar, why don't you let them know what it's about?
So Massacre is a short slasher film that I wrote and produced that is about a girl who wakes up at the site of a bloody mass murder and can't remember what happened. So I play that girl, and I wake up and everyone else is dead.
Well, that sounds very interesting. And,
yeah.
Is this the first project you've written?
I've written a lot of things, but this is one of the first ones that has gone all the way through being produced and actually getting out into the world. Some other things that I've made just haven't, made it out into the world, but this one's definitely making it out. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to be a good feeling, though, to have something that you've written and that's actually gone on to actually be filmed and people can see it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm really grateful to my director, Eric Boccio. He's a really great director. He's directed music videos for the band Pussy Riot. I don't know if you're familiar with them. And a ton of videos for funnyordie.com under the name Weird Fellas. And also my cast and crew. I had Lyndon May from Sam Hain, played the detective. Billy Morrison, who plays guitar for Billy Idol. He played the paramedic, which was really cool. With some really cool people involved.
Yeah. Now, what inspired the story for you?
It actually came to me in a dream. I had a very violent, vivid, and bloody dream. And I woke up, got my notebook, sat down. I have no idea for how long. It could have been 5 minutes. It could have been 5 hours. And at the end of it, I had the script for Massacre written down, like the whole thing. Obviously, it had some changes since then, but it was the basic script was there.
Nice. So this is literally from the mind of Pandie Suicide.
From the subconscious mind, yes.
Have you ever done that before, written down your dreams?
Yeah, I mean, I actually get inspired a lot by dreams and daydreams and just things like that, of that nature. I think a lot of good ideas come from our subconscious minds. That's where all the good stuff's hiding.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been a horror movie fan?
Probably since I was born.
Well, this comes up a lot on the show. Normally, my co-host on the show is Annabelle Lecter, and she couldn't make it tonight. But she's always she thinks it's crazy that I've been watching the horror movies as far as I can remember as well. And it's never been a problem. Has anything ever come up in your life where it's been a problem that you've been watching horror movies?
I don't think so. I think it's more a problem I haven't been watching more horror movies than anything else.
What are some of the first ones you remember watching?
I remember, it's not really horror, but I remember being very young and seeing the Rocky Horror Picture Show on TV a bunch of times. I think my parents were secret Rocky Horror Picture Show fans. Mm-hmm. So I remember watching that, and it's not really horror, but it has a lot of the kind of aesthetic aspects of, like, horror. Mm-hmm. Like there's blood and there's all kinds of stuff, and also a lot of Peter Jackson's earlier splatter movies like Brain Dead and
nice.
Meet the Feebles and all those films. I remember seeing them very young, and also Jaws, some like I guess The Shining. I saw that one quite young. A lot of them. I remember a lot of them.
Yeah. Jaws was filmed not far from me.
Oh really? That's cool.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of the old Peter. I like the new stuff too, but the old Peter Jackson films. It's crazy to think that's the same guy who made us some of the more modern stuff, but
right?
Yeah, some wild stuff. We've had some guests on actually from Brain Dead, Dead Alive.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's up there as one of my favorite zombie movies.
That's a good little zombie movie for sure. Big zombie movie, really.
Yeah, it's just wall-to-wall crazy.
Yeah.
And it's actually I think right now is the 40th anniversary of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, I think it is actually. Maybe a few days ago it might have been, which is crazy that was made so long ago.
Yeah, and to stand the test of time, because there's so many things that have come out since, but there's something about it that is iconic.
It's very iconic, definitely.
Hmm. Well, Sweet Transvestite's a pretty sweet song.
It is definitely a good song. I remember that one from my childhood pretty well.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Speaking of music, you have Twiggy Ramirez did the music for Massacre.
Yeah, so Jordy White or Twiggy, he makes a cameo in my film as a street detective, which is really cool. So he's just in it for a little while with Rob Patterson, who used to play guitar for Korn, was their touring guitarist, and also Filter. So those two, they make a cameo. Jordy Twiggy is the street detective. Rob is a cop, and they have Jeff Hilliard, who's this great comedic actor. He is in the scene with them, and then Jordy and Rob co-wrote the score. So the score came out really great. I'm very, very lucky to have had them, and it actually won an award at the Phantasmagorical Film Festival in Louisville, Kentucky in August at its first screening, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's
for
wild.
the soundtrack.
Yeah. How did you get all these people involved? Did you know them previously, or did they just like the idea of the movie?
Yeah, I knew everyone. Well, not everyone. No, actually, I did know everyone. So Jordy, his wife, Lanie Chantal, she's an amazing special effects makeup artist. She does all really cool stuff. Speaking of zombies, she does. I think she just did something like a Danny Trejo made him a zombie. I saw a photo she posted, which is pretty cool. She's also a Suicide Girl, so I know her through Suicide Girls, which is a site that I model for, and so that's kind of how I know Jordy. So yeah, that's how I got him involved, which is cool. He did a really good job with the acting. I think he should be doing more acting roles. He's really good.
Yeah. I know Marilyn Manson's been an actor lately, and he's been doing a good job, so I'm looking forward to seeing him,
Yeah. Marilyn Manson does some awesome acting work, actually. It'd be cool to see Jordy do some more, too.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned Suicide Girls. How did you get involved in Suicide Girls?
So I'm actually from New Zealand, which is where, why I grew up watching Peter Jackson splatter movies, because that's where he's from. And at the time, there were no Suicide Girls in New Zealand, so I decided to apply. They accepted me. I shot my first set, and the rest is history. That was a long time ago now. It was 2005. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. But, doing that, it seems like you made, friendships that have helped, in other projects.
Sure. I mean, that's never really the goal, but in terms of Suicide Girls, like almost all the girls on there, actually every girl on there that I've ever met, I mean, I haven't met all of them, so I can't say for everyone, but everyone I've met has been pretty awesome. There's some really, really cool, unique individual girls on there doing all kinds of things, like Lanie, who's the special effects makeup artist, which is really, really awesome. There's girls doing all kinds of stuff. So I've definitely met some of my best friends on there. So it was a really cool site to be a part of, really good community. Really creative, interesting people on there.
I would think there would be a big crossover audience with the fans of Suicide Girls and horror movies.
Yeah, there's a group on there, because we have little groups where you can go and talk about different stuff with everyone, with members, with Suicide Girls. There's one for horror, and there's, like Halloween groups and metal groups and stuff, all related. And yeah, the horror group's pretty active. Everyone's talking about their favorite films and everything. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned screening the movie and winning an award. What's the reception been like so far?
It's been pretty good. We've been very lucky. That was its first screening in Louisville. It was its world premiere, and then it played at the Horror Hound weekend in Indianapolis, which was its second screening. It didn't win, but it was nominated for Best Short, which is really cool. And we had our LA premiere here in September, which was really cool. Jordy came out, Rob came out, a lot of the actors came out for that. We had a few people there. We had the director of Pernicious, a new horror movie, James Colin Bressac.
Yeah, he was just on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he came to our screening, our LA red carpet premiere, which is cool. We had a bunch of different artists and different actors and stuff show up, so it was really good to have all those people come see the film. It's playing in Puerto Rico tomorrow, I think. Yeah, tomorrow at the Puerto Rico Horror Film Festival. And now it's just been accepted into the Fangoria Magazine Online Film Festival, which is really cool because it's judged by George A. Romero from Dawn of the Dead and Tom Savini and Tom Holland and some other people, which is really cool.
Yeah. Now, do you think, it seems like shorts have really become, popular over the last few years through the conventions and festivals, and why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot easier today to make a great short film than it was, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, just because the technology is there. Anyone can kind of go out and make a film, even if it's just from your iPhone. Maybe it won't be super, super high tech looking, but you can make a film. You can make a good film, or you can get like a Canon 5D or like anything. And they're pretty relatively inexpensive to buy or rent, So I think that might be some of the proliferation of short films. And a short film is obviously a lot cheaper and easier to produce than a feature film. So I think maybe that's part of why. And maybe there's just some more good stories out there, more actors, more everyone just wanting to create. And I think that's the new way to do it, is to just create your own films,
Mm-hmm. As a producer on this, what did you find like the most challenging part of actually making the movie?
All of it. No, it was great. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely very stressful if you're making your own film and you're the writer, the producer, and one of the lead actors. It's a lot of hats to wear, So it's just basically I had to make sure everything came together. And there's a lot of problems that come up last minute, like, oh, we lost a location. Oh, we need to get insurance, this, that, and the other thing. But you just kind of got to roll with it and go with it and just make everything happen. And it took some time. It took a lot longer to make than I thought it would. But I think it turned out really well, and I'm really happy with it and with everyone involved. So definitely for anyone out there who's planning to do it, try to budget more time and more money than you think you could ever possibly need is my first thing. And, don't be afraid to roll with the punches because it's not – sometimes things fall apart, but, it all works out in the end.
Speaking of the budget itself, like how did you finance the movie? Did you use crowdfunding?
Some of it we did do a crowdfunding, an Indiegogo campaign at the beginning, which is great. We had some awesome people contribute to that, and it definitely helped a lot. And then the rest had some help with some friends and family, but I financed most of it myself.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah, it's quite an expensive thing to do, so you got to make sure that's what you want to do if you're going to do it. But I think it was worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're investing your own money, then you're gonna want to make sure you put out a quality product.
Right? Definitely.
What seems to be your do you think is maybe the best aspect you're at in filmmaking? Is it writing, the acting, or several aspects?
I don't know. I would have to leave that up to other people to decide.
What would be your favorite? Then?
I can't really say. I enjoy all of them, and I feel like they all come from the same place, same place of creating, which is writing and acting out the character. Especially if it's a film where I've written it. If it's a role I've written, it's like I feel like I know that role quite well, and so maybe that helps with the acting. But that depends. Maybe depends what people think when they see it on the screen. You know what I mean?
How can people see it right now? Mostly at festivals?
If you're in Puerto Rico, you can see it tomorrow at the Puerto Rico Horror Film Festival. And for Fangoria Magazine, it's going to be an online film festival. So I believe, I don't have all the details yet, but I believe anyone can, sort of attend the festival if online by I'm assuming you have to purchase tickets, but I think anyone can watch it from their own device, computer, phone, tablet. So I think there will be a way for people to check it out there. Eventually we're going to probably release it online in some capacity. So we're working on that right now, but we have to do the film festivals before we think about that.
Yeah, I really like that idea of the online film festival. I think that's a nice way for people to be able to view it without traveling.
Yeah, definitely, and it can kind of reach more people because it's great playing at the film festivals, but your audience is only as big as the room will allow, or who knows about it. You know what I mean? And so it could be a small theater or even a large theater. Maybe if people don't know or they can't make that time, they're going to miss out. So at least if it's online, there's a greater chance for more people to be able to check it out.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like seeing a film on the big screen, especially with a group of people
Oh, sure,
that
yeah.
are into it. But if you just physically can't get there, it's great to have another way to see it.
Yeah, definitely.
I know. I don't want to. I don't know because I guess it's a competition. But former guest on the show, Scott Lias, I saw on Facebook that his short was just accepted to the same film festival. So
That's cool. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the same film festivals. I mean, sorry, a lot of the same films in that Massacre is getting into are in the same film festivals, which is cool. It's like, it's nice to be, it's like a peer group, I guess, and that's kind of like the same caliber of film, which is really cool. And at the end of the day, whoever wins whatever award is great for them, whether it's us or whether it's someone else. It's not really about the competition for me. I just kind of want to get the film out there to the people that would appreciate it, which is people that go to horror film festivals, I think. So that's kind of why we did that. But yeah, I mean, it's always nice to win an award, and that's cool that they're in the same festival.
now, obviously, there's a lot of blood in Massacre.
Yes, there is a lot of blood in Massacre.
So, who was in charge of the gore effects?
So we had this really great husband and wife team, Sierra and Josh Russell. I believe they're called Russell Effects, or Russell Effects is their on Instagram and everything is their name. So they did all the blood. We had a lot of blood and sort of knives. There's a lot of stabbing going on. I won't ruin the movie, but there was a lot of stabbing, and so yeah, we even wrote the name of the film, Massacre, on the wall of my director's apartment in blood. So there was a lot of blood on set.
Does he still have that there? He just left
No,
it?
I mean, it looked like a crime scene when we left. Like, it looked really bad, and they're making jokes about just leaving it like that and moving out and for the next people. But I think someone would have been going to jail if that happened. It looked very realistic.
So, what's it like being covered in blood on film?
I actually do that quite a lot. I was supposed to do that at a shoot on Sunday, but we ran out of time to do the blood scenes. But
I guess you ran
I
out of
actually
blood.
really like the blood. I guess it's my thing, is being covered in blood, because I made a whole movie about it. But it can be very sticky depending on the kind of blood you're using. If you're using a corn syrup-based blood, which is kind of a cheap, easy one to make at home, that is very, very sticky. There are different kinds of blood they use, though. Like the one on set that they use, like a professional grade one, it's not as sticky. It's more watery, and that's not as bad.
Would you have a preference in the consistency of the blood?
Just depends. Whatever works for the scene, because sometimes you want it to look more like coagulated and like just sticky and gross, because that's kind of like what you need for the scene. Other times it needs to look very fresh and be flowing like straight from the vein or the artery or whatever depending on what you're doing. If someone's just being stabbed in the film, it's going to go everywhere, so you need like a more free form flowing blood, so that's not as sticky.
Right. So for the blood aficionados out there, they can
Yeah.
grade A blood right there. Yeah, do you prefer playing the villain or the heroine in a film?
I don't know. A little of both, I guess. They're both a lot of fun. It's always fun to play a villain, but it's also nice to play the hero, But it's just, there's a lot of like victims in horror movies, so I have played the victim, definitely. That's fun too, but it's nice to play a very strong, badass character too, whether that is the victim or, I mean, whether that is the villain or the hero.
Hmm. And I have to mention, because the last few years it's really become a thing in the horror community, is women in film, and not just as actors, but as writers and directors, like with the Saska twins, and
Yeah.
yeah. So you're part of that. Do you have any views on that?
I mean, I don't think there's really that many women in horror. There's a few, definitely, and I think that there should be more because there are some awesome twisted tales that I'm sure women can be telling on the screen. So I would love to see more from more female writers, directors, producers, and everything. So, I mean, definitely are a few great horror directors that are female, like the Saska sisters, or do I pronounce it Soska or Saska? I have
I
no
say
idea.
Saska, but I'm probably
Yeah.
not the person to ask.
But I loved American Mary, which is
Hmm.
their film, which I thought it was such a good movie, and they're amazing directors. But yeah, that's like one of my, I don't know, in my top 10 or so films right now. So I think they're doing amazing things. There's also this director who I've worked with before called Emma Reeves. She is an amazing horror photographer and director. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she is about to direct her first feature film, which is going to be called Sweethearts, which I have a small role in.
Oh, nice.
It has strong female roles in it, which is really cool, and it should be cool. She's a great one to watch.
Hmm. Do you ever find any resistance at all? People say, because you're a female or you're a model, that like, oh, well, you're not gonna be able to write or produce a movie. Or has
Of
everyone been?
course.
Yeah.
I mean, people like to take things at face value, and, appearances and stuff. And because, I do appear very young looking and, I model for suicidegirls.com and stuff, maybe they have a certain opinion that they form based on that. But I'm very happy to, exceed people's expectations. If they expect that I'm not going to be able to to do something, and then I go ahead and do it anyway, that doesn't bother me. That makes me happy. But at the same time, it would be nice if it was easier for women in general, I think, not just me or just women in horror, but just women in general to be taken more seriously in film and stuff like that. Because there aren't, the percentage of female directors in general and writers in general is very low. So I would like to see that change for sure.
Hmm. You mentioned, watching horror movies since you can remember. Was your family always cool with that?
I mean, I don't know. My parents are great in that they're quite they want they want their children to, follow their own path and choose who they are, like be themselves. But on the other hand, they don't like a lot of things, like they hate tattoos and stuff. But at the same time, they still want me to, be happy and be who I am, which is
Hmm.
great. So with the horror films, I don't know if they want to watch my horror films, but they're happy that I'm making them because I want to make them and that kind of thing. So I don't know how they feel about horror films. I think they kind of like them, but not really. Like they like the idea of them, but I don't know.
Now, you were in David Lynch's Crazy Clown Time music video.
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
I actually got a call out of the blue. I was at the gym, I think, at the time. And it was a casting director who asked me if I was free the next day or whenever it was, to be in a David Lynch video. So, of course, I said yes. And then it all worked out. So I didn't really know anything about it, and I don't know how they found me, but I was very, very stoked to be there. It was a great shoot. David Lynch was very nice. A very interesting guy, very cool. He was amazing. It was an amazing experience to watch him direct and learn from him, and he was just really awesome.
Hmm. Who are some of the other directors that you're interested in?
I'm interested in a lot of directors. I just saw Eli Roth's The Green Inferno the other day. I really like that movie, just because I quite like cannibals. So anything with cannibals is exciting to me. So that was cool. And I really like the Hostel films. So definitely him, and I like Tim Burton, just his aesthetic of all the films he has, like Edward Scissorhands and everything. Really amazing. Nightmare Before Christmas, although obviously that's animated. There's so many directors that are just amazing. Like I love all of David Cronenberg's films. Some of them are really strange, which I like.
Now, speaking of cannibals,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of cannibals myself. What are some of your favorite cannibal movies?
I mean, right now it's The Green Inferno.
Did you like Hannibal the TV show?
Yeah, I liked Hannibal the TV show. I've only seen a few episodes of it, but I really liked Hannibal's the actor they chose to play him is just really good at the role, I think. But anything that is from the Hannibal kind of story, any of those movies, I really like those too. Silence of the Lambs, obviously, all of those films. So cannibals are very interesting. Serial killers are my favorite. So a cannibal is like a serial killer taking it to the next level and trying to, eating the souls and the flesh of their victims.
If the chance would ever come up, and it was no one would ever know or anything, would you try human flesh?
Do you know what's really weird is that the director of my film Massacre, Eric Baccio, that's actually almost the exact question he asked me the first time I met him at something. He asked if I would ever try human flesh if it was offered at a party, and I said, I don't know. Because I'm a vegan, so it seems not vegan, but at the same time,
I'm pretty sure it's not
an animal because it's a human. So it's very much like a conundrum. I don't know. Would you?
Well, I'm not a vegan, so
So you're a cannibal?
Well, I didn't say that, but if I would probably try it. This has come up on the show before with Hannibal and I, and yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I can't even eat animal meat, so I don't know about eating a human meat. But it depends. I would have to decide at the time.
Do you think knowing the person would that be easier or harder? Do you think?
If I didn't like them, it might be easy.
That's true. That's true. I guess it depends why you didn't like them. If you knew they were a really seedy individual, you might not want to eat their flesh.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they were organic, free-range vegan, then I might.
Then we could, people could maybe start farm raising people. No, it's a bad idea. But now you got the short out there, Massacre. Where are you going from here? Would you eventually like to make a feature?
Yeah, so I've been writing the feature for Massacre, a feature based on the short, with the same characters. Obviously, it's going to be a slightly different story because I want people who have seen the short to be able to watch the feature and not just know everything that's happened. And so that's cool. I'm working on that. It's going to take a little while, I think. But that's one of my next projects. And I have another short that I've written called Bloodbath. I have a bit of a theme here, I think. So I'm hoping to produce that next. But that's... I don't know how long that's going to take, but that's probably the next one I'm going to work on. And I've also written a TV show pilot called Teeth, which I'm working on as well.
Can you give us any idea about what any of these are about? Or is it too early yet?
It's a little too early. I mean, the short, I don't want to tell you just because it's so short that anything might kind of give the whole thing away. But there's going to be blood in that one too, for sure. And Teeth, there's kind of like a vampire element in that one. I don't want to tell you too much more, but yeah, there's a vampire element. So that's why there's some teeth in it.
Yeah, it would be bad times if you had a vampire who needed dentures.
I know. How would you eat?
That's not. I don't think that's been. I don't think there's been a movie about that yet. So if anybody out there wants to take that,
there we go. The grandpa vampire.
Exactly. Now, vampires, is that something you're interested in as well?
Yeah, I really like vampires, vampire movies, and everything. Actually, the first short film I ever made was a vampire movie. It never really got finished because I made it in high school, and it ended up getting just a little bit too edgy for me to turn in. I think so. Never quite got finished, but it's definitely something I'm into.
What are some of the vampire films you like?
I mean, obviously stuff like From Dusk Till Dawn is fun. All those kind of movies. Nosferatu is a classic. There's just so many that. What did I just watch? I just watched Fright Night 2, the one with Colin Farrell, where he's a vampire.
Yeah, the remake.
That was pretty interesting. There's so many that I can't think of them right now. Obviously, Interview with the Vampire is one of the classics. But I like stuff. I like it where the vampires are really sort of scary and violent. No Twilight vampires. I mean, I'm sure Twilight is great for people who are into that, but I'm not really into sparkling vampires. I prefer them to be very scary.
I will agree 100% with that. I've never watched any of the Twilight films, so I can't really speak on them. But
yeah,
they don't look like something I'd be interested in.
I mean, I like True Blood as a TV show. The vampires are a lot more violent and scary on that as compared to Twilight.
I thought the vampires in 30 Days a Night were well done.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I don't know if you're familiar with Let the Right One In, but that's one of my favorite, like more modern.
Yeah, I like that one too.
So where can people find you? Not like in your home, but like where can they find you online?
In my kitchen right now, but no, on Instagram and Twitter and Periscope, which is my new thing, at Pandie Suicide, Pandie Suicide, Suicide, is where I am on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and also my Facebook fan page is facebook.com/Pandie Suicide. I have my new website will be up soon at pandiehq.com. It's not ready yet, so maybe don't check it out just yet, but that will be up soon too.
So if people tune into Periscope, what will they see you doing?
Earlier today, I was giving a little update on my movie. On Sunday, I was on set of something I was filming, so I was just showing off like the set where I was. Last week when I used it, I was in the studio doing a radio interview, so it was some stuff with that. And I was at a show. But on Monday, actually, this Monday the 26th, I'll be on the Suicide Girls Periscope account. So I'll be logged in, taking over the Suicide Girls Periscope account. So that's at Suicide Girls if you want to watch. I may be at a show broadcasting from there or doing something else exciting. So it should be a lot of fun.
Can you explain to me something? This has nothing to do with horror, but because the show we've got a lot of listeners all over the world, and I know that people in Australia and people in New Zealand, they kind of have a rivalry, and it's been explained to me one time, and I never understood this. I asked why, and they said, well, I'm not sure which one it was. It's like people in Australia say fish and chips, and the other ones say fish and chips, and that didn't make any sense to me. But what is the difference between the New Zealand and the Australian accent? And is there a rivalry?
There is a lot. I feel like the Australian accent's a little bit more pronounced, like it's a little stronger and thicker, but that's just my opinion. I'm a New Zealander, so obviously New Zealanders don't like Australians as much as Australians like Australians, so we have the friendly sibling rivalry going on. It's not really like a real rivalry, it's just kind of, joking around type thing. The word six, we would say six, like that. They say it like seeks, so it sounds kind of like the word sex. I don't know. But then they think we say it like that. So it's kind of hard to say.
I understand. Not really, but that makes sense.
Just the New Zealand accent is better. That's all I can really tell you. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Well, I'm really looking forward to Massacre.
Awesome.
And, yeah, I like to see it. And looking forward to your future projects.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's been very nice to have you on tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on your show.
Very welcome. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
You as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
This is Rebecca Kennedy from Bastard, and you're listening to Without Your Head.